Where the eastern shores of the Aegean Sea meet the rolling hills of Anatolia, great cities once stood. The envy of the ancient world, they attracted travellers in search of healing, hope, and happiness. Today, there are story keepers living here, preserving this powerful past. Caretakers of the sacred places, they're uncovering new spaces to wander and unwind. A respect for tradition and a taste for adventure. These are their hidden treasures.
We were looking for somewhere different than big cities, and this was one of the spots we visited. The first night, we came in dark. In the morning, when we saw the village, it was amazing. We fell in love with Şirince.
Ömer Samle believes in the value of venturing off the beaten path. Before he stumbled across the tiny village of Şirince, he was working in Istanbul, making reproductions for Turkey's museums. Now he's preserving antiquity by fixing up old homes and turning them into bed and breakfasts.
This is a clockmaker's cottage. We were amazed with the history because before this Greek community had been living here, the Romans were also living here because from Ephesus they had to come here because we have water here. The source of water is behind us on the hills. That's why this place was called Ephesus on the Hills. I sometimes run to the nearest hill over there. It is very pretty and you feel so peaceful there. It's amazing.
19th century cottages built by the Greek community that lived here, Şirince's terrace houses are perched on steep hillsides, providing the perfect escape to relax and recharge.
So this was the kitchen and this was the living quarter for the family of 4 living here. Carpentry is the most difficult part because it had to be done according to the original look. Some people told us that there's a good energy here, so they kept coming here, and some people bought houses because there was a good energy here.
The source of this energy may have something to do with the nearby city of Ephesus. Unearthing its origins does not require much digging.
What is so special for an archaeologist to work here in Ephesus is this city has never been built over. So we are actually having 9,000 years of history before us.
Martin Steskel works in probably the best preserved ruins in Turkey. They're also some of the most popular. It's why he relishes these early morning moments when he has them all to himself.
This facade, because it was such a good shape after it collapsed, actually there were so many blocks still remaining that in the 1970s the Austrian Archaeological Institute was able to reconstruct this facade. Today it is the icon of the Ephesus excavation. Here you can see the niches where there were shelves and some 10,000 book scrolls were stored here and kept here. Unfortunately, not a single book scroll has remained because in the late 3rd century there was a horrible fire here after an earthquake and all the book scrolls burned.
While the Celsus Library is the main attraction, the popularity of the ancient city comes from the sheer size and number of structures that have been uncovered, some of them restored to their former beauty and functionality. Like many of the wonders here, the Great Theatre was built by the Greeks and expanded by the Romans.
If you reach the city through the sea, the first thing you would see when you entered the harbor basin would be this fantastic theatre.
With its marble seats and towering views, It once accommodated over 20,000 spectators, making it one of the largest in the ancient world.
It was used multifunctionally, not only for performances, dramas, artistic plays and so on, but also for the gathering of the city assembly, meaning that all the Roman citizens from the city of Ephesus could gather here in this building. And there's another thing that took place here, it's gladiatorial games. The Romans loved spectacles, and also the Greeks, of course. You could go to the bath buildings, you could go to the theater, you could go to the gladiatorial games, to animal hunts and so on. So this was something you would want to do if you wanted to be entertained here.
Hem bir saklı hazine hem de kutsal bir
It is both a hidden treasure and a sacred place, one of the holiest places in the world. The meaning of this place is very big for us, for the theater players and the dancers. To revive the things that were performed in this theater back in that era, over and over again, is a hidden treasure for us too.
Mustafa Erdogan organised a joint performance here in 2001. Like the many shows his Adolo Ateşi dance company stages in ancient amphitheatres, the inspiration came from the power of the place.
It was the first time for me that I have encountered a tour audience. Imagine, you have worked for 2 years preparing a show. The first day, there were 12,000 people in this theater. We couldn't even hear the sound of the music because there was such a big reaction to our show. There were people from every nation in the audience here.
Ephesus has been attracting crowds for thousands of years. Piecing together the pull of the past has been Mustafa Bikulanci's life's work.
Şimdi şurada
We have now entered the largest church in Western Anatolia, measuring 65 meters. Here you can see the monograms of Emperor Justinian, the emperor who built this place.
ortadaki Theodora.
As a young archaeologist, he helped excavate this massive church of St. John, uncovering important clues connecting this site to the spread of Christianity.
Ve bütün olay
We had to find the answer for why such a big church was built here. The answer to this question is the grave we can see right
Karşıda
across.
gördüğümüz mezar alanında. Burada İsa'nın
Here is the tomb of St. John, the youngest apostle of Jesus, to whom he entrusted his mother, the Virgin Mary. The whole event begins with the tomb of St. John.
Aziz Yuhanna'nın mezarıyla başlıyor.
One of the original 12 apostles, John plays an important role in early Christianity, spreading the word after Jesus' death. In his book of Revelation, John sends 7 letters out to the churches in the surrounding cities, urging early followers to walk in God's path.
We accept the fact that he wrote his Bible here, or up there in the castle, and he wanted to be buried here. He wanted his grave to be here.
Today, John's letters are a roadmap for many who make the pilgrimage here to Western Turkey. And yet, it's this tiny house in the hills above Ephesus that might draw the most diverse array of believers. Thought to be the home where Mary spent her final years, it is a simple structure with a powerful aura. While the Catholic Church has never confirmed nor denied if the mother of Jesus actually lived here, plenty of popes have visited, along with countless others of all faiths who come to witness and pay respect. Regardless of religion, the serenity and peacefulness that surround this site just may be its true treasure. The modern city of Izmir, originally known as Smyrna, remains a crossroad for ancient tastes and traditions.
This was built in 2nd century. There were people living here, there was life, and this is Agora. Agora means the square, the middle of the city, the marketplace. It's not ruined that much. You can feel it. You can feel that there was life once upon a time in here. We are in the middle of the city actually right now. The bazaar is really close. You can walk there just in few minutes. To be here, to feel this atmosphere, it's really beautiful.
Life in Izmir has always revolved around the Agora. Once the beating heart of the seaside hub, today that lifeblood runs through its thriving markets and eateries. Turkish journalist Bilge Egemen has traveled the world,
Bir tane alabilir miyim kumrudan da? Sıcacık. It's really hot.
but now calls Izmir her home and her delicious haven.
We are now in Kemeraltı, the old bazaar of Izmir. This is really historical, very old bazaar. And in it, there are lots of street foods you can taste.
The Kemeraltı Bazaar is the go-to place for great food and exotic eating.
This is söğüş. This is the brain and the cheek and the tongue of the lamb. So they make it a cold sandwich. They cut it with onion and tomatoes and with lots of spices in it.
Bu ürün yok yani dünyada yok sadece
In
dünyada
all
İzmir'de
over the
meşhur.
world, even in Turkey, we don't have this söğüş sandwich. Only in Izmir.
Evet İzmir'den başka
Since
yok.
when? Ne kadar zamandır?
Biz burada 45 yıldan beri varız.
They are here for 45 years
Tabii,
in
ilk-
this place.
ilk babam
His father
başlattı.
started this in Izmir, this kind of sandwich. Before that, there was no söğüş in the world. People who come to Izmir, they always try this. I never did this. I don't know. I'm not very good with the meat, actually. That's why. Çok heyecanlıyım.
Mini söğüş.
Yes, for the first time in my life, I'm gonna try this, taste this.
Of course, a tasting tour through Kemeraltı doesn't have to be so adventurous.
It is really busy. This is the restaurant. Its name is Mahmut Usta. They make food for the local people, homemade foods, and really, really delicious. Aynen, çok teşekkür ediyorum, sağ olun. When you live in Izmir, it's like you are always on a vacation. I mean, if you have a job here, after you close your, shop, you can go to Çeşme for swim or for the weekend. I mean, it's always like a vacation. It's a big city, third biggest city in Turkey, but still easy. Merhaba. This is called shambali. This is kind of dessert. It's made from semolina and syrup on it.
İçinde kaymak var. Bunun üzerinde de tarçın var bu şekilde.
Since I am kid, this is my favorite. I mean, whenever I came to Kemeraltı with my parents, that one was my, it's a bomb. There is something else about Izmir what I like. You see lots of women outside on the streets in Izmir. You see, of course, women all around Turkey, but especially in Izmir, women are more seen. They are outside, more lively. They are more in life. That's what I like about Izmir maybe most.
Across town, another enduring legacy of Izmir is being created in this workshop. The craftsmen and women here produce exact copies of the original statues found in the nearby Ephesus ruins. Made with a mixture of polyester and marble powder, the casts are made in molds and then perfected for purchase.
The silicone mold helps the ancient look. You can see all the details here.
A family business stretching across 3 generations, Antique Sand Sculptors has been making replicas with special permission from Turkey's Culture Ministry since 1990.
My grandfather made our first copy, which is Artemis in the Ephesus Museum. He made it by clay. We take a mold of it and then casting, and the final object is made.
Their finished masterpieces come in all shapes and sizes and are sold around the world.
We are the unique company in Turkey with this quality. We are the one. Of course, my friends may not understand the importance of this, but I know that. And I'm so glad my grandfather to found this company. Anlatıyorsun, evet. Because it's the greatest heritage to us from him.
A heritage once hidden is now a treasure shared. When the Apostle John wrote his letters to the 7 churches, many were seeking spiritual nourishment, manna from heaven. Traveling through Turkey today, some seek out this same nourishment by visiting these sacred sites, enjoying the quiet places, or just embracing the rush of nature.
This place is special because it's full of Turkish people. Yeah, the Turkish hospitality, I'm sure you've heard of it.
Bora Kozanoglu has plenty to smile about. A champion windsurfer, he gets to play in Alaçatı, one of the best windsurfing spots in the world.
This place is very special. There are 2 hills there, and the wind comes to the hills and it squeezes the wind and it makes a Venturi effect, and it just goes all the way through the bay and making it like a special windsurf pool. No reefs, no rocks, and the most important thing is it's 1 meter depth. 600 meters from the beach you can walk. Even some people who don't know how to swim, they come here and in a couple of days they start learning windsurfing because there are no waves.
While not quite a religious experience, Bora promises that harnessing the wind can be life-changing.
The first time you're on the board, you realize that you don't have control in life. You cannot control everything, but you have to adapt to nature. You realize that there is a superior power around you. You have to synchronize yourself with it, and the moment you get that synchronization, you feel the freedom in your hands, yeah? And then it's a balance between keeping the control, getting the control, giving it back. It's like a dance, it becomes like a dance. Basically, the feeling of freedom.
For some, the search for this type of transcendence comes by just sitting still.
Anatolia is really very mystic and very special place. To be a healer is in our DNA. You can heal yourself with yoga, even with sound, with breath, with mantras. This is all about your senses. You have to use your 5 senses to connect the nature.
Demir Atilla opened his yoga retreat center here in Urla, wanting to draw on the energy of this ancient landscape.
The dream was in the pandemic days. I feel so alone in my apartment. I lose all my connection with the nature because we can't go out. Then I make an intention, actually. I want to live in a green place, and the place should give healing to all the people visiting.
Believing that the body has a healing power all its own, Demir is tapping into rituals that have been practiced here for millennia. As in nearby ancient Pergamon, where the sick once flocked to the Asclepion, an edifice to the god of medicine. Hoping to be healed, they slept in the sanctuary, and when they awoke, told their dreams to the priests who prescribed treatment. Early doctors combining the supernatural and the practical. Today, the olive trees that surround the yoga center provide their own natural remedies.
We produce our own olive oil, not for food, but for a medicine. Whenever you are going to sleep, just one shot to make it heal you when you are sleeping. Nature gives us everything.
It's in the stillness of this nature that Demir says the greatest healing can happen.
When meditating, you are going in a journey into yourself, no go somewhere. Everybody thinks that when you are meditating, we go somewhere, it's like illusions. No, you are going inside. And when you meet yourself, you can get rid of all your burdens, and when you are inside, you can heal.
Whether it's the pursuit of peace and wellness, an ancient elixir, or new nourishment, or the chance to walk in the footsteps of strong spirits, Turkey's Anatolia region is brimming with hidden treasures waiting to be discovered and embraced.
You can't understand if you watch, but if you join us, you can feel it. After these 2 hours, you can hug me and thank you, Demir. Now I feel, you will see. Yeah.